Welcome to Champions for Life, the radio ministry of First Choice Pregnancy Services here in Las Vegas. I'm Deborah, the Executive Director of First Choice.
And I'm Ken.
And we are Champions for Life.
Hey, welcome, folks. Welcome to the Champions for Life radio broadcast. I am your host, Ken Wilson. So delighted to be in the studio with you today. Today, I'm actually at KKVV. Now, I know that sounds strange to some of you, but the fact is we've been doing podcasts. They've been playing our podcasts over there, which we love. KKVV for doing that. Thank you very much. But today, I have the honor of actually being in studio because you know what? We love the staff at KKVV. We just do. We love them all. We love them all. From the general manager on down to everybody. So we're just so happy to be in the studio with you today. Just delighted. And I want to give a shout out, of course, to a company. I got a lot of great news today, so just bear with me. But there's a great company that's helped First Choice Pregnancy Services in the past, and even a lot of people at First Choice don't realize it, and that's Commercial Roofers. And I want to give a shout out to them. I want to thank them. Listen, if you have a property, a commercial property where, you need a new roof, you need roof repair, I strongly urge you to give these wonderful folks a telephone call and say, listen, we've heard about you on the Champions for Life radio broadcast. Here's their number. The number is 702-876-1777. That's 876-1777. That's Commercial Roofers, located right here in Las Vegas, 3865 West Naples Drive, Suite 308. And just tell them that you heard about them on the Champions for Life radio broadcast. First Choice, we're looking to do some more work with them. We love what they've done for us. We love their heart. We love the quality of their work. And you will too. So if you need help with your roof, maybe you got a leak here, leak there, maybe you need a complete reconstruction on your roof, give Commercial Roofers a call, 702-876-1777. And since we're talking about sponsors right now, we're going to knock them out of the way. Kelly Chiropractic, one of our sponsors of the broadcast. We love Doc Kelly. Doc Kelly, listen, he treats injuries from falls, car crashes, everything from plantar fasciitis to allergies through his acupressure program. That's not acupuncture, keep in mind, a little bit different. But if you're looking for allergy relief even, or if you need some stuff is misaligned, he has laser therapy. For those of you who are suffering from muscle spasms, that type of thing, muscle spasms can ultimately result in misalignment of your skeletal structure, and so he treats that as well. Listen, accepts most forms of insurance. Give Doc Kelly a call. He's also a pastor. How good is that? Kelly Chiropractic, 1405 South Arville, Suite 102, and the number is not on my paper here, but you can look him up at dockelly.com. I don't have the number in front of me. Don't ask me why I don't, because I just don't. But dockelly.com, Kelly Chiropractic, 1405 South Arville, one of the proud sponsors of the Champions for Life radio broadcast. And by the way, when you do look up Kelly Chiropractic, make sure that you mention that you've heard about them on the Champions for Life radio broadcast. All right. Dying to get to this good news. Now, you've heard me talk about this in the past, and I'm just so thankful. The reality of a second clinic for First Choice Pregnancy Services is becoming a reality day by day by day. It's going to happen. And I just can't tell you, a lot of you folks are praying for various things in your life. Right? You put your heartfelt needs before the Lord in an altar, and we have been praying fervently, especially in the last, I'd say, year or so, for this second clinic. We've always been praying, but we've been praying and guess what? Just like that, the Lord has answered our prayer, and it looks like we're going to get a facility twice the size of our current one. Our current one is a good size. But it looks like the next one that we're going to be getting is twice the size, going to need a lot of work. Now, listen, you say, Kenny, well, that's good news, but how does it affect me? Well, first of all, we will be able to expand our outreach to young ladies who find themselves in a crisis pregnancy situation in a second location. And that is going to be huge because we'll be able to amplify our effectiveness in reaching these young ladies and families in Las Vegas. Ultimately, our goal is to open a clinic throughout all the major cities in Nevada and then extend throughout the United States. And the reason The reason is because our model turns out to be very effective. So effective, in fact, we are about to crest our 47,000th child that has been saved in the last 20 years through First Choice Pregnancy Services. Now you say, Kenny, what are you talking about? I've never heard of this before. What is this type of place? Well, First Choice, first of all, is a clinic. It is a clinic for women who find themselves pregnant and perhaps there's a lot of problems associated with their pregnancy. Maybe there's some familial pressure. Maybe there's some spousal pressure. Maybe there was a crime involved. In fact, we got a story today dealing with an incredible crime, an update from a story we talked about earlier. And, there are a lot of reasons. Perhaps it's a financial thing where women are talked into it or felt they need to have an abortion because the finances and resources weren't there. I urge you, if you find yourself in that situation today, please take this number down. There's never a charge for our clinic, for our services, for the resources, the counseling, the free pregnancy test, the free sonogram, speaking with our doctors and nurses. It's all free, not a dime. Give them a call. Here's the number, 702-294-CARE. That's 294-2273. And say, hey, listen, I heard about this guy on the radio and, First Choice Pregnancy Services, I'm pregnant. My friends are telling me one thing and then my other friends are telling me another thing. I'm confused. I got pressure. I got no resources. I need help. Give them a call and please find out what your options are. Let's confirm your pregnancy, first of all. And then we'll go from there and show you all of your options. And we'll see what the Lord will do in your life. So here's the thing. That's what we do. I've been doing it for 20 years here in Las Vegas, First Choice Pregnancy Services, and so now we'll be able to open up a second facility. We open up a second facility, now we're able to expand our outreach, cover another portion of Las Vegas, and this is, it's sort of like, I don't know how to explain it, but the more facilities we have, the more families and women that we can reach. And not only that, first of all, First Choice is always busy. We're always busy at the location where we are. And so if we are able to open up a second clinic, then it'll alleviate some of the stress on our one clinic by being able to provide services through another. And not only that, of course, we'll be able to expand the operation altogether. So this is wonderful, wonderful news for Las Vegas children and families and moms. It just really, really is. God has answered our prayer. Now, how does this affect you? Well, I'll tell you. First of all, you want to write that number down because you never know when you're going to run into that, that coworker, that family member that really needs help from services that are provided by First Choice. And so that's why you want that number, 294-CARE, 294-2273. But furthermore, there's a lot of you that already know who we are. Right? And some of you are medical professionals. Well, listen, once we open the second clinic, which is going to be twice the size, amazing. Our clinic is already a pretty good size. It's going to be twice the size. We're going to need more doctors, more nurses, more staff, more people working in administration, more counselors, more volunteers. This is what I want you to do. Listen, if you are a medical professional, we really need you. If you're a doctor or if you're a nurse, listen, full-time, part-time, however you want to do it, we could use your help in establishing this second one. Now you say, Kenny, how long is it going to be before we get the second place open? Well, I got to be honest with you. We've got a lot of work to do. We don't have the keys yet. I mean, this is very early on, but Lord willing, we're very sure that we're going to get it. The building and the facility. So, but regardless of where we open, we're still going to need the staff. We're still going to need the doctors. We're going to need the nurses because now we have two clinics. And this is how you can help. If you're a medical professional, administrative professional of any type, and you have some time, or maybe you would just simply like to volunteer. Maybe you have a construction company. Maybe you're an architect. We're going to need these. We're going to need you. We could, maybe you're an electrician. We could use your assistance. Here's the number. I want you to write this down, 702-294-CARE. That's 294-2273. Call them and say, listen, I heard Kenny on the radio, and obviously you're going to need some volunteers. You're going to need some help. You're going to need some work on construction, getting this building built into shape. whatever your company is, you can assist us in making this second clinic a reality. And you can do that by just giving us a call, 702-294-CARE, 702-294-2273, and be a part of the blessing to Las Vegas that First Choice has already been. I tell you, folks, I got to be honest with you. A few months back, we had the gala, and we had sort of a slightly different format. But to me, the highlight of these galas is getting to meet the moms, some of the moms that have decided, you know what, my baby is alive today because First Choice was there. First Choice helped save my child's life, right? Provided the resources and the love and the compassion and the prayers. They were there for me. And to see these moms, a lot of times with the dads, right? Sometimes they get married, a lot of happy endings at First Choice. And that's like the highlight of being part of these galas, getting to see these beautiful babies, their moms and dads, and they're just so happy. They're happy. It's just such a rewarding ministry. Now, I want to mention to you, for example, and I've said this before, your pastor has often told you how many times about taking the gospel outside the walls of the church. How many times have you heard that? Right? You've heard it. You say, how am I going to do it? I don't know how to do it. Take the gospel. I don't know what to do. Be a part of First Choice, because here's what we do. When we minister to these young ladies, first of all, we meet their needs. Whatever their needs are, we meet them, right? And then we share the gospel, the love, and the compassion that Jesus Christ has for them. So we're witnessing them to not only by words, but in deeds. And that's how you can be a part, by simply volunteering at First Choice. And you don't have to wait for us to open the second clinic. You can do so by contacting us and say, hey, look, I don't know what I can do, but I can do this. Or you know what, I'm a sonographer, but I can't do it full time, but I can give you 2 days a month, right? Or whatever it is. Maybe I'm administrative, I can help, and I can do this. Or maybe I'm data entry, I can do this, right? Or maybe you just want to do some type of other volunteer service. There's a place for you at First Choice Pregnancy Services. You can be part of the blessing to Las Vegas. And I want to tell you, listen, the Lord is opening up another clinic. And I'm not going to say that he likes what we're doing, but we're doing this because we're compelled and impelled by his love and compassion for Las Vegas. We're compelled to fulfill that compassion and love that we have for Las Vegas, and we're making it happen. And you can be a part of it. You can also be a part of that right here in Las Vegas. And so we got a lot of stories that I want to talk about today as well. So first of all, as you probably know, there are 7 states that are going to be voting on the abortion, that have abortion on their agenda for this coming year. And Nevada obviously is one of those. And so what you can do is you can be a part of one of the solutions. And one of the greatest ways that you can be a part of trying to curb some of the legislation that's coming up, because question 6 is coming. Question 6 is coming in a year. And question 6 is going to make abortion legal throughout all 9 months of pregnancy. And furthermore, you will not need to be a doctor. All you would need, the language is in the bill, they have struck the doctor provision from this new language. Used to be you had to be a licensed physician. That's our current law, in our statute. But in this new wording, which will go into our Nevada Constitution, all you need to be is a healthcare professional. And a healthcare professional can be anything from a tattoo artist to a massage therapist. I mean, it's anyone. And this is devastating to healthcare in our state. And we're just one of about 7 states that are going to be facing abortion on their ballot. Some states are trying to promote life in theirs, and they're passing, they're trying to revoke. Some states are trying to actually enhance or amplify abortion access in their states. And unfortunately, Nevada here in Nevada. The sad part is they are trying to make Nevada, and specifically Las Vegas, the abortion capital of the United States. And I think that in part is why God is granting us the favor in opening up a second abortion facility. And it's not something we want, but you can be a part of curbing this by being a part of the ballot question effort to defeat question 6. And if you'd like more information about that, I would urge you to contact Nevada Right to Life and say, hey, listen, how can I be a part of this effort to combat question 6, which is a ballot question that's coming up? And folks, if this passes, our Constitution will allow abortion throughout all 9 months. You can say goodbye to parental notification, right? Forget parental consent. Right now, the current law is parental notification, so that if your 13, 14-year-old daughter gets pregnant, at least before the abortion is performed, you will be informed, right? You will be notified that the surgery is pending. But if this passes, question 6 passes, then you can say goodbye to parental notification. If your 12, 13, 14-year-old daughter gets pregnant, you won't know about it unless she decides to tell you, or God forbid something happens in surgery and something terrible happens, and then you're notified that way. I mean, it's a horrible piece of legislation, and it's going to become our constitutional. It will become constitutional law if this passes in a year. So we need to take an effort now to make sure that the public is informed about how dangerous this bill is. First of all, as it stands right now, the status quo in the state of Nevada is you can have an abortion for any reason or no reason up to 6 months. 6 months. A 6-month child in the womb. There have been children that have survived at 4 months. 4 months development, gestation, and through miraculous medical technology, been able to keep those children alive and are alive today. But right now, as it stands today, for any reason, no reason, 6 months pregnant, you may have that abortion legally. They want to amplify this, and it's insanity. It's absolute insanity. And the craziness is it's already passed a year ago. Because in our state, if you're not familiar how it works, all of these ballot questions have to pass twice in order for our Constitution to be amended. And once it's in our Constitution, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to repeal it and to remove it. So find out how you can be involved in combating question 6, because there is an effort, there's groups out that are doing their best to make sure that the public is aware of how devastating this constitutional amendment will be to Nevadans, Nevada women, and especially Nevada children. And it's just frightening. The sad thing about the way it is now and the way it will be without parental notification is that everyone knows that child trafficking is a problem in our country, but specifically in states where unfettered abortion is legal. And if this occurs here in Las Vegas, then even more sex-trafficked minor children will be able to get anonymous abortions in our state, as it is currently, thanks in part to Governor Pritzker from Illinois. Already, they are making abortions, an abortion travel, free of charge. There are already organizations that will pay for your plane ticket. For example, say you're in a pro-life state. Maybe you're in Texas, for example, and the woman is trying to get an abortion, but she can't do it, but she heard that she can do it in Las Vegas. There are agencies here in Las Vegas and the state of Nevada that will pay for the plane ticket. They will pay for the abortion. They will pay for the daycare if your child is coming with you. They will pay for your hotel stay, all free, in order for you to obtain an abortion in our state and bypass the pro-life laws in your state from whence you came. And that's the insanity as it is today. And if question 6 passes, it's the trouble will be amplified It will be amplified. And again, sex trafficking, human trafficking, we've already got a massive problem on our hands, and this will make it beyond manageable, and which it's not even manageable now, to be honest with you. So that's something that's coming. Again, if you want more information about how you can be a part of defeating Question 6, I urge you to contact Nevada Right to Life and say, hey, look, what are the groups? Depending on whatever city you're hearing this in, how can I be a part? What can I do? And they will direct you to organizations that are working to kind of combat this issue. And it's going to be devastating to our state if this occurs, especially Clark County. Now, got an event coming up. Now, you got to mark your calendar. The Imago Day Conference is coming up January 17th. You want to free that day up. I believe that is a Saturday, and you are going to want to be there. So listen, if you have a pro-life ministry or anything that touches the life movement, you want to be at this conference, the Imago Day Conference. The keynote speaker is going to be Megan Basham. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. She was a reporter for the Daily Wire, and she also served as a film and television editor for World Magazine. And she really came on the radar with her second book, which is called Shepherds for Sale: How Evangelical Leaders Traded the Truth for a Leftist Agenda. And it's a very, very controversial book. And, you know, I probably don't need to tell you that there's a lot of, shall we say, lukewarm pastors out there that, you know, hide under the gospel sort of, I would say, mission. But, I mean, the sad reality is, listen, there's nothing more important than salvation in Jesus Christ. Nothing. Nothing compares to it. And ultimately, that is the foremost mission of the church. There's no question about it. That's the mission that the Lord himself gave to us. However, let's take John the Baptist, for example. I love John the Baptist. You know why I love John? Because John was no nonsense. He pointed him out. And it didn't matter that King Herod was the king. He said, listen, you know, you're living in an adulterous, crazy relationship with the wife that you shouldn't have. And he just pointed his finger. The part of the mission is of the gospel for those of us who are mature in faith is to expose evil, to expose it, so that it doesn't run rampant. So that, you know, the Bible talks about how that my people perish for lack of knowledge. Well, listen, for example, in question 6, a lot of children are going to be perishing if this passes. More so, even late-term abortions are going to happen. But the point is that a lot of pastors have kind of hidden beneath the gospel, thinking that, you know what, I don't really have to expose evil. I don't need to ruffle any feathers. I just need to preach the gospel. And what's happened is we've allowed sin to fester in our communities and even in our sanctuaries because it's not addressed, right? It's not pointed out to. There's no venue for repentance. You know, a lot of times, ultimately the Holy Spirit is the one who drives us to repentance, obviously, and thank you, Lord. But sometimes we don't even realize that the actions in our lives sometimes are unholy. And part of the pastor's job is gently but succinctly pointing out some of these problems that our culture says is just fine. And what's happening in churches today is a lot of these sins are kind of whitewashed or set behind a table somewhere where they're not addressed anymore. And again, what happens is folks are left perhaps even sitting in the church, but there's no repentance because they don't feel the call for it, or they think that, you know, their form of love is acceptable in Scripture, and that's not always the case. So Shepherds for Sale, How Evangelical Leaders Traded the Truth for a Leftist Agenda, is a book written by the keynote speaker of the Imago Dei Conference, which is coming up on January 17th. Her name is Megan Basham, and she's going to be the person. Now, if you have a pro-life ministry, you are going to want to be there. So what you do is you log into imagoconference.com, imagodeiconference.com. It's hard to spell. Going to give it to you slowly. I'm going to give it to you twice. But Imago Dei, IMAGODEI, conference.com. One more time, Imago Dei Conference, IMAGODEI, conference.com. And it's coming up on January 17th. You want to be a part. If you have a pro-life ministry or you minister in any aspect to women who find themselves in a crisis pregnancy situation, or if you're a part of the pro-life movement, certainly there's going to be some the groups there like Choose Life 2026 and Nevada Right to Life that are going to be there. They're going to have their own tables, their own information. This event is going to be the place to get all information. 40 Days for Life is going to be there. You want to go, and if you have a ministry, you want to be there with your own table and everything ready to go. And so get more information, and Lord willing, I will see you there. Probably hanging, I'll be bouncing between the First Choice table and the 40 Days for Life table, which is my personal, also another ministry that the Lord has graced me with. So I would love to absolutely meet with you and chat with you about either of these important ministries, either of these. And both of them have been so rewarding over the last 20 years that I've been involved in both, but specifically more with 40 Days for Life. So I look forward to that. Again, that's going to be January 17th at the imagodeiconference.com. And we're looking forward to Megan Basham, who's going to be the keynote speaker. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be absolutely awesome. You know what? Don't get to do this during the podcast, but I tell you what, if you'd like to speak or have something you'd like to share or say hello, you can. Our telephone number is 702-650-5588, 702-650-KKVV. And if you'd like to speak to the host of your show about just anything, maybe a little Christmas salutations, if you will, or you can talk to us about how your Thanksgiving was. I'd just love to talk to you and say hi and hear what you're doing. Maybe you have a ministry that's involved. We'd love to talk to you about that as well. Now, so many stories to get to, but I will say this: Texas. Texas is now about to pass a law which could save literally thousands of children. Now, the problem that America is facing now is the abortion pill, right? Or pills. It's actually two-part regimen. And right now, I think the estimates are that about 2/3 of all abortions are done using the abortion drug, which is tragic. Because what happens is a woman goes home and delivers a dead baby at home. And there's a lot of crazy considerations that are not, that aren't considered when a woman goes and does this at home. First of all, most times when a woman obtains these drugs, there's no sonogram. So what if it's an ectopic pregnancy? For example, what happens if the baby is developing in the fallopian tube? What happens now? Now you end up having a life-threatening situation. In fact, the statistics are right now, that 11%, over 1 in 10 women who do the abortion drug regimen end up in the emergency room in hospitals because of, uncontrolled bleeding, complications, whatever. This pill, these drugs are very dangerous. And so what's happening in Texas was the fact that, they were already a pro-life state, and what was happening, pro-abortion forces were flooding their state with the abortion drug to circumvent their pro-life laws that try and protect children. So Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed the Woman and Child Protection Act into law in September, and which is now taking effect. And it gives citizens powerful tools to sue companies and activists for illegally trafficking chemical abortion pills into their state, and could potentially end up saving thousands of unborn children in their state. Essentially, pro-life residents can sue out-of-state companies and abortionists who illegally ship abortion pills to Texas. And that, the lawsuits, could essentially put them out of business, or at least make them reluctant to mail the abortion drug to people anywhere in that state. And so the landmark legislation, HB 7, authored by State Representative Jeff Leach and sponsored by Senator Brian Hughes, passed the Texas House on August 29th before securing final Senate approval on September 4th, and it marks a bold escalation in the state's pro-life defenses against what advocates call a global abortion pill syndicate, exploiting mail-order schemes to evade bans. And from the pro-life perspective, the law represents a critical shield for vulnerable preborn children and their moms, targeting the deadly distribution of mifepristone and misoprostol, drugs that starve the unborn babies to death and expel their dead babies, often leaving women in need of emergency care, as we were just talking about. And so this is what's happening in Texas. We have kind of the opposite problem here in our state. We're trying to hold them back. The state of Texas passes pro-life laws, and the pro board side says, well, forget that. We're gonna do what we want, and we're gonna circumvent your pro-life laws by flooding you with these abortion pills. Said John Ciego, who's the president of Texas Right to Life, he said, after over a year of research, writing, lobbying, and negotiating, it finally made it into Texas law, and I'm thankful for all the leaders and groups that pushed this bill. An estimated 19,000 such abortion pills are trafficked into Texas each year, fueling what critics call a hidden epidemic of chemical abortions that circumvent the state's heartbeat law and other protections. Said this bill is about our fellow Texans. This bill is about our future fellow Texans specifically. They are unborn, but they're alive, and they're worthy of our focus and our work on this bill. And said these fellow Texans have hands and feet, they have fingers and toes, they have eyes and eyelids, ears and noses, they have unique personalities, they have brainwaves, they have heartbeats, they have rights. And they do. Children have. Can you imagine that we've actually come to a point in our society today where the ending of lives of, the tragedy is that, this type of war against children used to be performed by enemies of your country, hundreds of years ago. For example, one nation goes to war against another nation, invades a town, and they make sure that they kill especially all the pregnant women, or they slash their wombs, causing, and it was just horrible. This was something that used to be done by the enemies of the state of another country against your country years ago, right? Where we would destroy the unborn children, right? Now, it's now a right. The populace, the people of our nation and our state have been deluded into thinking that by ending the life of your child that's growing happily in your womb, that this is a beneficial thing for you to do. It's not only a right, but this is going to make you happy, and this is going to make you fulfilled, and it's going to clear the way for your future. But when in reality, this only brings heartache, destruction, depression, and both physical and spiritual destruction into women's and families' lives, not to mention ending the life of this precious child that was made in the image of God. And it's crazy because this is the opposite. This is literally the opposite of what should be happening. We should be welcoming, right? We should have welcoming hearts. And if a family was struggling, we would find ways to help. That's the mission of First Choice, by the way, to help young ladies and families that are struggling, trying to figure out how they're going to make it. It doesn't matter whether it's a teen pregnancy or whether it's, whether there was some illegality involved in the pregnancy. It doesn't matter, right? The mom is in trouble, and we are here to help. First Choice Pregnancy Services. And again, our number, 702-294-CARE, 294-2273. And so kudos to the state of Texas for making it happen. But, there are other states as well that are facing these things. Like, for example, in Missouri, pro-life amendment They're trying to repeal the 2024 voter-approved pro-abortion measure, right? They're trying to, curve back what has already happened. So they're facing that. Of course, in Nevada, we have question 6. In Idaho, the reproductive freedom policy would overturn the state's abortion ban by establishing a so-called right to abortion. So in Idaho, which is a pro-life state, they're trying to overturn it, trying to make it pro-abortion, right? And in Montana, the definition of person amendment advanced by lawmakers during the 2025 legislation session sought to amend their constitution to define a person as beginning at fertilization or conception, granting legal protections to that unborn child. Wouldn't that be wonderful? If as soon as your child is conceived, right, that all the rights that you have, all the rights listed in the Bill of Rights, would then be ascribed to that child. Now, it kind of is. For example, if something happens where, the pregnant mom is, involved in an assault situation, and unfortunately that child loses their life. Well, guess what? Now, the law says, well, you've ended the life of that child. You will be charged with manslaughter for that child. So it's crazy. If the mom decides, well, I'm done with this child, I don't want to be pregnant anymore, and she does it, well, it's a right. But if a criminal does it, you have the same result. You have a dead child. But in one case, it's manslaughter. But in another case, it's a woman's right. It's a woman's right. It's insanity. It's a non sequitur. Children should have the same rights as their parents. Whether it's a little Johnny or little Susie in the womb, it doesn't matter. And so Nebraska also is wants to define a preborn child in their state constitution. And so they're working on their legislation as well. In Oregon, they are doing the opposite. Oregon is circulating petitions to amend their constitution by affirming the right to kill children in the womb. And so Oregon is facing that as well. Virginia's right to reproductive freedom, doing the same thing. In their state, they're going to allow abortions up to birth in their state. Did you know, by the way, I bet you didn't know this, in California, craziness, just insanity, they could potentially now, and they're trying to figure out how to make this happen, abortion would extend postnatal. In other words, because they want to redefine what pregnancy means. And so if they can legally redefine what the term pregnancy, they are looking to see if there is a way to abort a child or end, in this case, end the child's life after birth. I know that's insane, but that's exactly what they're looking at in the state of California right now, because they've passed a law, and Governor Newsom has signed it, which makes it real ambiguous whether they can, they're in an attempt to redefine pregnancy as also including post-birth, which is crazy. It's just insane. There's no way I could live in California, beautiful state, but it's just insane there. And so there's a lot going on. So again, if you are interested in trying to defeat Nevada's upcoming ballot question 6, which will appear on the ballot, barring a miracle by God, it will appear on the ballot in 1 year, right? Then give Nevada Right to Life a call and say, hey, listen, how can I be a part? How can I be a part of trying to help, get information out about this ballot question, which would amend the Nevada Constitution to allow abortions up to and including 9 months for any reason or no reason, without parental notification and without any liability to abortionists. I mean, it's a horrible piece. It's a horribly crafted piece of legislation. And if it does pass, it will absolutely be challenged in court, but that won't stop it. So we want the voters to become aware of how dangerous this bill is. Our laws are already insane as it is, right? Abortion, right now, the status quo, abortion up to 6 months. 6 months. You can have it for any reason or no reason, doesn't matter, right? But at least there's parental notification, and at least a licensed physician has to perform the abortion, unless it's done by the abortion drug, which is crazy in itself. But if this ballot question passes, you will not need any licensed physician to perform the abortion. Isn't that crazy? They've struck that language out. All you need to be is a healthcare professional. That's crazy. That's insanity. So, and not to mention completely unsafe for the mom. Completely unsafe. So find out how you can be a part. Contact Nevada Right to Life and say, hey, look, our church needs to know more information about this. We've got to let the people in my church, the people in my organization, the people in my workplace need to know that this constitutional amendment, ballot question 6, is very, very dangerous. All right, so in the time remaining, before I do that, I want to mention one of our great sponsors of the Champions for Life radio broadcast, and that is RTS Postal Express. That is my man, Angelo. Angelo is going to take care of all your copy needs, whether it's black and white copies, color copies, doesn't matter, business cards, resumes, maybe. Listen, here's a great idea for a Christmas gift if you're a business owner, right? How would you like it if you had coffee cups, for example, or thermoses with your company logos on it and your employee's name? Their name and your company, right? Everywhere they go, they would be carrying this coffee cup, perhaps, or thermos, and it's like free advertising. Plus, it tells your employees, hey, you know what? Man, my boss really does care. And this is really cool, right? You can do that by contacting RTS Postal Express. Find out how inexpensive it is to get your logo and personalized thermoses or even coffee cups for your company. How awesome as a Christmas gift would that be? RTS Postal Express, my man Angelo, 702-489-4859. That's 489-4859. RTS Postal Express for all your copy needs. RTS stands for really terrific service. I mean, it just is. It's going to get it done for you. And you're going to be happy, I promise you. And it's going to be done inexpensive. And if you mention, by the way, they have a Veterans Day. I know it's past Veterans Day, but they're going to honor. They have a Veterans Day special. So if you call RTS, listen, I heard about your Veterans Day special, and mention, of course, the Champions for Life radio broadcast and podcast, you're going to get a very good discount on your first order. So give them a call. Again, that number, 702-489-4859. RTS Postal Express, one of the proud sponsors of the Champions for Life radio broadcast and podcast. Now, today I get to be in the studio, and I'm just so delighted to be here at KKVV. However, normally, of late, we've been doing podcasts. You've been hearing podcasts over the air here at KKVV. And so you can look us up on either Rumble or YouTube and even Facebook, for example. And just look up Champions for Life. And it's an outreach ministry of First Choice Pregnancy Services, which is soon to open up our second clinic. Oh, I'm just so happy, man. Oh, I can't believe it. A second clinic, and it's going to happen. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for being able to make it happen, providing women with answers and help and compassion and love in the gospel that's going to be preached to these young ladies and shown our actions in love as we wrap our arms around them. And I'm just so happy about what's going to be happening. So again, for our new building, which we are looking at, in fact, we kind of had our hearts settled on one of them. We're going to need everything. We're going to need, if you own a construction company, if you are an architect, if you're a plumber, if you have anything to do with construction at all, maybe you're an electrician. Listen, we're going to need you. We are going to need you. We're also going to need staff. If you're a medical professional, please give First Choice a call. We're going to need you. If you're a doctor, licensed nurse, specifically a sonographer, we will need you. We're specifically looking for OBGYNs, obviously. So please give First Choice a call if you'd like to volunteer. Just find out more information about it. Maybe you would like a tour of our current clinic. And believe me, it's beautiful. If you ever walk into First Choice, it's just like a sanctuary. It really is. You'll feel the love and compassion as soon as you walk in the front door. and they're always busy, so call in advance for your free tour. But if you'd like to volunteer, if you want more information, a couple of ways you can do it. One way is to just give them a call, 702-294-CARE, 294-2273, and say, hey, look, I want more information about volunteering. I'd love to take a tour of your facility. Love to see what you guys are doing. And we have so many counseling rooms. We have 3 sonography rooms, and the nurses, staff, administrators. Listen, you're going to love them all. And we're busy, but you'll see what we do. And maybe you can be a part. Or perhaps you are a businessman or businesswoman, and you would like to be part of the blessing that First Choice is to our community. You can be a sponsor of this broadcast. And as a consequence, we'll obviously promote your business on this radio broadcast and podcast, letting everybody that we possibly can know about your wonderful business and what you're doing. Just like Kelly Chiropractic, RTS Postal Express, and Commercial Roofers, whom we absolutely love. And so if you'd like to be a part of that, give First Choice a call. Again, their number, 702-294-CARE. That's 294-2273. And say, hey, listen, you know what? I think I would just love to have my business advertised on the Champions for Life radio broadcast and podcast. And we would love to have you there. And listen, guess what? If the Lord blesses your business so much that you can't handle all the new business that you have, that's not our problem. That's not our problem. If you got too much business because God is blessing it, well, I open up another office. I don't know what to tell you. But I can tell you this, that anyone that's gotten involved with First Choice, they have been blessed and are living in the blessing of God, because this is one ministry that God is blessing in our community, and he's doing it right in front of our eyes by opening up a second clinic. Focus on the family. Focus on the Family, whom we love, years ago awarded First Choice, gave them an award as the model crisis pregnancy center in the nation. In the all 50 states. And it's right here in Vegas, and now we're going to open up a second one. But it's going to take some time. So again, if you want to be a part of this second clinic somehow, and you are a professional, especially if you're in the construction business at all, or have anything to do with it, architect or otherwise, please give First Choice a call and say, hey, look, I don't know, I'd like to bid on whatever it is. And listen, we're going to need everything. For this new facility, if it's the one that we think we're probably going to get, we're going to need help in every single area. In fact, that's why we're contacting Commercial Roofers, because they're going to be a big part of that as well. We've got to get the roof done before we do anything else. And so we're going to be a part. They're going to be a part. If you want to be a part, contact us, at 294-CARE, 294-2273, and say, hey, look, I'd love to be a part of this new free medical clinic for moms. And I tell you, folks, I'm going to tell you a story. I love stories. But I tell you this. Years ago, this happened a while back, but I was working, right? And one of my coworkers that I knew Melissa, she got pregnant. And I knew it, obviously. You could see she got pregnant. I didn't know a whole lot about her, but, pregnant. And so she went off on her maternity leave. And so, she took time off, went and had her baby. And before she came back to work, she found me. And she found me in the break room. And she had brought her newborn child with her. And this really happened, folks. I'm sitting there, I'm leaning back on the couch watching the television in the break room. And she plopped this newborn child, this little infant baby boy, into my arms. Now, at the time, I wasn't a dad. I just, so I'm trying to negotiate. This baby. I was like, what? And she said this. She said, Kenny, you and those folks that were at the abortion facility when I went to go and have my abortion saved my baby's life. And I just wanted to thank you. And I was speechless. I'm holding a child in my arms. Now, as amazing as that is, I'm going to tell you what happened 2 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks earlier. 2 or 3 weeks earlier, wasn't long. I had seen a video of a young lady who had been out. I didn't know her, it was a video of a lady who was in an interview with some news agency. And she was defending why she was there at the abortion facility, praying for the folks. She was a sidewalk counselor, pro-life. And she told the reporter, she said, listen, she said, I have held in my arms a child that is alive today because of what we're doing right now, right here. And when I saw that video, I said to the Lord in my heart, I said, Lord, that's what I want. I want to be able to hold in my arms a child that is alive today because of our pro-life efforts, right? Folks, 2 weeks went by. I don't even think it was 3 weeks. 2 weeks went by. 2 weeks. And Melissa, my co-worker, I knew her, I worked with her, but I didn't know a whole lot about her, comes in and plops this. 2 weeks, the Lord answers my prayer with this precious life in my arms. You said, Kenny, why are you telling me this? I'm telling you this because you can have this blessing occur in your life by being part of First Choice Pregnancy Services. There's nothing like it. There's nothing. A lot of us always admire our emergency workers and our paramedics and our doctors who save lives, right? Because, to us, they're heroes. Even our police officers, they're heroes because of what they do and the lives that they save, right? And we never think that we're going to be a part of something like that. We never think that we're going to be able to, jump into an ocean and pull a drowning victim out and say, hey, man, I saved a baby. But you can. You can. You can be a part of this miracle right in your very own city. You can hold that child in your arms and say, you know what? God has blessed what I've done because I've been a part of First Choice. Look, I'm holding a child that's alive today. I'm holding one, and a mom who is so happy and just radiant because her baby is alive, right? And multiply that, folks, by thousands from what First Choice is doing right here in Las Vegas. And you can be a part of it. How wonderful. You say, Kenny, you're right. I need to figure out how I can help or figure out how my company can help, right? You can do that. Maybe you're a professional. We could use you. Look, we're opening up a second clinic. We need help. We need administration. We need medical professionals. Give First Choice a call and say, hey, listen, look, my pastor told me to bring the gospel out. Look, obviously you guys are doing it. How can I help? How can I be a part? Give First Choice a call. Take a tour of the facility first. 702-294-CARE. Take a tour. Set it up. Go and see for yourself what they're doing. And when you do, you're going to find out very quickly that First Choice is not only a clinic, it's a sanctuary. It's a sanctuary of life that you can be a part of. And I want you to experience this blessing. And I've had it multiple times now of having children in my arms. It's wonderful, wonderful blessing, right? The enemy can never take this away from you. It is a gift from God, really, a blessing to you because you were there. Be a part of what First Choice is doing. Well, listen, it's going to happen whether you're helping or not. It's going to happen. But you know what? We don't want to be the best kept secret in Las Vegas. We don't want to be. We need to make sure that every church knows about us, every youth group knows about us. We want to make sure that the community knows that we are there for them. Never charging a dime for our services. First Choice Pregnancy Services, please be involved. Please. Our number, 702-294-CARE, 702-294-2273. Or look us up on the web, fcpschampions.org. And you can log in, find out all about our events coming up. Probably have some stuff in there about Imago Dei. It's coming up, the Imago Dei Conference. Listen, Imago Dei, make sure you sign up, get ready to go. If you have a pro-life ministry or a church or want to be involved, listen, you got to be. It's going to be a fantastic thing. If you're pro-life, it's a place to be. Coming up January 17th. Keynote speaker Megan Basham going to be there. Mago Day. And we look forward to seeing you at this conference. Well, folks, look here. Coming to the end of the broadcast. And listen, it's been such a pleasure being in the studio here at KKVV, the Light of Las Vegas. Just such an honor. If you have questions about anything you've heard, give us a call. Again, our number 702-294-CARE. And remember, you can be a champion for life.
Thanks for joining us for the Champions for Life radio broadcast, the outreach ministry of First Choice Pregnancy Services.
Join us